Live from Twin Pines, it's Malignant Bear, featuring me, JD Grossmitz. Hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. Tonight we're power washing once again, because we can't escape this. Of course, if we're power washing, it means there's been an update to the game, and in this case, the update is a paid DLC. This one is the perhaps long-awaited Back to the Future one. Maybe not long-awaited for me. I like Back to the Future, don't get me wrong. Pretty good series of movies, but maybe not as impactful to me as some other potential DLCs could be. That said, I'm still excited for it. Of course, had to play it as soon as possible. It just came out yesterday, so we'll be checking it out tonight. And as usual, I'm just going to go through all of them, just ramble while we clean, and listen to some royalty-free music in the background. That's pretty much it. I mean, Powerwash Sim, it's great. It's always been great, and it's going to continue to be great. What's not to like about cleaning things, you know? Nothing. There's nothing that's not to like about that. So, let's get to it. Here we are, in the menu of Powerwash Sim. Back to the Future. So we've had Tomb Raider and Midgar were both free. SpongeBob was the first paid one. We finished all of that. And now Back to the Future. So Universal Studios needs some help with the production of the iconic film trilogy. You're going to see some serious dirt here. So obviously, this came out yesterday. And today, big event today was, technically not today, I guess it's Sunday night, is the 25th anniversary of Half-Life. So we had a decision to make. We're going to play this today and we'll do Half-Life next week. So I wanted to address that before we jump in any further. Alright, Doc Brown's van. We get $45 for cleaning it. Powerwash Services. Want to get in the movie business with us at Universal Studios? You see him, producer currently on location looking at dirty prop and wishing he had a big old water pistol to wash it down with. When I said as much on set, my intern pointed at you in the phone book. I had no idea power washing was even a thing, but apparently people watched it for hours on their VHS. Who knew? Phone books are a thing? VHSs are still a thing? Does this game take place in the past? Think you'd be up for coming down and helping us out? We loaned a medium-sized truck to their productions. Come back filthy as anything. We need it for our next shoot. Okay. Seems a little odd. Actually, I'm going to turn the music down ever so slightly. There we are. Alright. And apparently they learned the lesson from some of the complaints that people had about the SpongeBob one, where they limited you to only certain nozzles, and I've heard you get all of them in this one again, which is good, so this should go a little faster. Apparently there's only 5 levels in this, and as we have access to, let's see, the Vista Pro, short extension, yes, we have the triple nozzle, okay. It's been a while since I've played. Feels a little floaty. Oh well. Hey there, welcome to the set. A little weird that this is like in collaboration with Universal Studios. Didn't think they would be so blatant about it. I'm Alex, Total Whiz with the pager, so the producers asked me to check regularly in with you. What year is this? Bet you're excited to be in a movie set, aren't you? I know I am. You're an intern. You're excited to do whatever they tell you to do. Just an intern. I'm so excited I haven't slept for 2 days. Speak of the devil. "24-hour scientific services. Thank goodness for the sugar rush of waffle puffs." I guess, yeah, we're in the past. This movie's called Back to the Future. It's wild. Never heard of it. Tell me more. I know, back, but to the future? How's that even possible? It's science, Alex. Basically, Back to the Future is, no joke, the title alone is making my brain fizz. Miss Frizzle. Obviously, Back to the Future is very famous, very well-known movie series. Perhaps more so for parodies of it than the movies themselves anymore. I imagine there's more than a few people who have seen parodies of it more than the originals. Or maybe don't even know that there are originals. Maybe they're only familiar with the parodies. Obviously, trilogy of movies. Tell you more about what's going on here, but I haven't seen the script. They're keeping that close to their chests than a spandex tank top. What I would give to read that thing. Sneak into the writer's room, Alex. Be the change you want to see in the world. So yeah, famous movies starring Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd, of course. I can tell this movie's about high school kids whose best friends are the mad scientist. That would be illegal nowadays. This cool kid's called Marty McFly. Sounds like a Scottish insect, but he's really cool. How cool is he? Scientist called Dr. Emmett Brown. He looks like he's had one electrical shock too many. So you know he's doing a science. Excited to get to clean a DeLorean. Wonder how much Miami snow will be on it. If you don't get that joke, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Let's talk about DeLoreans when we see it, though. Famed entrepreneur John DeLorean. 24-hour science. Amazing. Dokily. So what we need is then to get on the roof of the truck, and that should be pretty much it. Yes, I assume. Do without the ladder. Yes, okay. Saying that there's a ladder right there, but producers are loving that suit of yours. I don't even know which one I'm using. So we'll find out when we see the recap. Is it available for day high? There's a couple scenes it would be perfect for. Yeah, I was going to talk about Half-Life, but it seems kind of silly because we'll play it next week. Or at least probably will. Something else comes up. Yeah, Half-Life 1, 25 years old today. One of the most famous and arguably important video games ever made. I was discussing it with another member of the band previously, why it was such a big deal. It's not so much because it was good, but because of how it was made and all that. Revolutionized the industry. Trim. Never been crazy about the vehicle levels. Just because there's always like one part in them that's just an absolute pain. See a little bit of dirt up there. Not much, but it's like enough that we have to... Might have to get the ladder out. Switch. I'll keep that. No attachment. Or no extension, rather. Actually, we might need... This might be the easier way to do this. Triple nozzles is the best until it's not. Dad, we're here at the mall. Sure hope no Libyans come to stop us from power washing. The achievement is great, Scott. We're still using the purple suit, okay. Standard one I've always had. Band looks fantastic. They said to be fine under the grime. In fact, you've done such an amazing job, we'd like you to stick around. Here it is. Meet our movie star vehicle, the Time Machine. It's a car that's been modified by genius inventor Doc Brown to incorporate a flux capacitor, fueled by bootleg plutonium, naturally. Reaches its top speed of 88 miles per hour in no time, so to speak. Anyway, riding those timelines is cold work, which left it covered in temporal ice and astral particulate. Basically, our props department have had a field day with it. We need to clean it for one last take. Really appreciate it if you kept everything you've seen today under your hat, or mask, rather. Of course, DeLorean, made by entrepreneur, businessman John DeLorean. Didn't make a ton of money. Not a particularly good car. Most famous for being in this movie. Not a fast car, not a well-made car. Interesting looking. Very, very 80s. The gull-wing doors and the strange angles. How incredible does this car look, right? We're gonna clean this fast enough that we won't hear any of the stuff that they're saying. No idea what all the bits are, though. Like a time machine. They sure do. By the way, we've had to keep the gull-wing doors locked. Of course. Teams have installed some highly sensitive electronics inside that don't mix well with water. I feel like they could have just got a twofer and had both the vehicles in one level. But I've seen there's going to be a dog hopping in and out of it all night anyways. See, I'm not sure what exactly is going on. It's weird that we're like talking to an intern instead of like the actors or something else. I feel like this is kind of a weird and wasted opportunity. Hard to pick up what everybody's saying unless you stood next to the boom mic, which I'm not allowed to do as I fidget too much. Judging from the last shot, Doc Brown has a clever dog that's capable of driving the car. It's true. Planning on testing a time travel special effects soon, so watch out for that. Are we gonna get to see it? Of course, the most unbelievable thing about the movie is not the time travel itself or anything else. It's the fact that they were able to get a DeLorean up to 88 miles an hour. infamously kind of a piece of crap. Cool looking though. Front toe ring. Obviously the steam separator coolant pipe. And the temporal field gyroscope. Out of time is the license plate. There's no telling what those parts are there? Let's see. Okay, all I got. There we go. Okay, okay. Probably clean this up for them. Appreciate that. I give them credit for putting that in and then letting me deal with the fire. That's very good. Very hard to put out. I wonder what that's about. Anyway, while we're doing this, worth pointing out we're listening once again to music from League of Legends. Terrible game. But, oh, it's all gone now. They are making a second... What? Oh, I got an achievement for watching it reappear. They're making a second season of Arcane. It's due out in 2 years. Or 1 year? I don't know. Time is relative. But yeah. League itself sucks, but they've done some good things with the franchise. Just took them a long time. Drop you a note, say thanks again. Continue. The Hill Valley Clock Tower. Come to the back lot. Wrapping up the film's incredible climax sequence. Special effects team threw everything at the tower. Can do. Galito Gully. Hill Valley Auto Stores. Oh, is it gonna let me walk around the whole town? Oh. Bluebird Hotel, the Elite Barbershop, Hill Valley Stationeers, Realty, Travel Service, the bank, Lou's Cafe, Roy's Records. There's a gas station right in the middle of town. Something else very covered up there. Okay. Bike shop, Shorts. Looks very purple. All right, let's get to it. I'm not gonna explain the plot of Back to the Future. Just assume everyone's seen it. Science happens in it. How do I get to the roof? Oh, okay. Like get up that way. Still haven't seen the script, but I've watched them film this scene 1,000 times, so I can talk you through it. It's... Why do they have me just talking to some intern? Why not? That's so bizarre. And the fact that he's, like, not aware of the movie. This must have been some stipulation with them using the license. Whatever. So Doc's climbed the clock tower. I think it's because he's scared of three things: big cats, heights, and lightning, and he's trying exposure therapy. Plan to hug a sculpture of Puma and then zipline his way to the ground in a thunderstorm. 3 birds, 1 stone. Panics when he sees the Puma, of course. Who wouldn't? A cat with many names. Man, having the dishwasher attachment is very strong. Make quick work of this. Do have to move this a bit. That'll do it. What else? What else, though? Talk about actual things? Never mind. More stuff to read. Doc tries to focus by pulling a zipline for his friend Marty below. I mean, I guess it could be a joke as far as, like, describing the movies poorly or something. Maybe they did keep the filming under wraps. I feel like... I don't know. Maybe? Maybe that's it? Sure what, his timing stinks. Smell a thunderstorm. Doc can't hear a thing. Okay. Yeah, either there is some weird stipulation that they couldn't actually describe the movies, or there's some kind of inside joke that I don't quite get here. Unless the joke is that the movies are so famous that you're just gonna ignore this and clean anyways. I don't know. Like, oh, I don't need anybody to explain Back to the Future to me. But I'm playing into that by not explaining it either. But yeah, other big news. They put out the nominees for the Game Awards. Coming up pretty soon. Baldur's Gate and Alan Wake and Spider-Man 2 are leading in most categories. They have the most nominations by far. It seems like Baldur's Gate is probably just going to clean house. I can't imagine it wouldn't. And Alan Wake probably will as well. Spider-Man might pick up a couple, but from everything I've heard from friends who've played it, and even from critics, it's like, it's good, but it's very much just more of the original, but just, like, better. Which isn't a bad thing. But I feel like that's kind of what Sony does. Sony's first-party studios, regardless of which ones they are and which genres they're making, Sony puts out, like, 2, maybe 3 games a year that are, like, pretty good in every single category. Like, they're non-offensive, they're fun, they're, like, all around, like, a 7 or an 8 in literally every single measure. But I don't know, they just never blow me away. Again, they're not bad, I certainly enjoy them. But I would rather, like, take a sacrifice in one of those categories. Like, you know, have a game that has questionable gameplay, but like, tells me an interesting story. Or, you know, the graphics suck, but it just has amazing controls. Rather than something that just is, like, super safe in every single category. Give me something a little more bold. But yeah, even if the Baldur's Gate doesn't clean house, and again, I imagine it will, it's just amazing to see Larian get nominated for so much, and especially for, you know, kind of old school CRPG to get nominated for so much. They did clean up at the Golden Joystick Awards. I assume they're going to win some BAFTAs and things as well. If they didn't already. Have not played it yet. It's on the list. We'll say, speaking of awards, me and the band are working on the Game of the Year lists already. We've been talking about that, what we want to add to it. This is a very difficult year, not just for games they released this year. There was a lot of good games that came out this year, but in general, a lot of us have been playing good games, even older ones. It's just like in previous years, our lists, both mine and the whole band's, are not just the best games I played that came out, or best games we played that came out in this year, but just best games we played this year. So they could be older titles as well. Just as long as we either played them for the first time this year, or they had, in some cases, large updates. We count those as well. Like enough new content that it warranted either a replay or, you know, like a full expansion pack or something like that, you know. Yeah, very... This is the hardest I've ever had to work to think of my top 10. So many good games. And again, that's even without playing Baldur's Gate or Armored Core. There was another pretty big one we missed. Oh, the new Yakuza game. Did not play Spider-Man. Familiar with the other ones. Starfield is not going to be making the list, though, I will say that. Not mine or the band's. Interestingly, only up for one Game Award as well, Best RPG, and it is going to lose that to Baldur's Gate. Microsoft has a lot of good studios under them, but they seem incapable of getting good work out of them. From what everyone has said, it's because they're a little too hands-off, which I thought would be a good problem to have, but apparently not. some of those studios, I guess, cannot self-police to get it together and make better games, which is a shame. Hey, I have not played Alan Wake either, because it's currently an Epic exclusive, so we'll wait a bit on that. Love the first one. One of my favorite games. I liked all the discourse when the nominations came out. Some people were mad that Dave the Diver was nominated for Best Indie because it was published by Nexon, which I don't quite understand how that would disqualify it. It has a big publisher, but it's still an indie developer. As far as I know, it's still that team's first game. Yes, someone gave them a lot of money to make it, or at least a lot of, publishing support, but it's still indie as far as I'm concerned. They still had to do the hard part. Well, that is disappointing that something like Cassette Base did not make it. I think that flew under too many people's radar. Connect to the zip line. Doc Brown walks around the edge and attaches it to the weather vane. I feel like we're just gonna ignore what this guy's saying. He's just badly explaining the plot of Back to the Future. See a little bit of dirt up there, but once I'm reaching it. Alright. Go all the way up again. See if we can't get a better view. There we go. There's a bunch of stuff inside. I was gonna say, the numbers don't quite add up. We're pretty much done out here. Okay, I'll look up the short extension. Already got the other door. The other big gaming news is Rockstar finally announced that GTA 6 is going to be a thing. Their CEO made a bunch of weird statements that, like, games are too cheap. Gamers should pay by the hour. And it sounds like it's going to be like a $100 video game for just the base edition. I hope I'm wrong about that. Then maybe I just misread or he was misquoted or something. But he's said similar things in the past, so I'm not super surprised. Which is crazy, considering they've made literally billions off just the microtransactions in GTA 5 alone. Like, I can kind of get the argument for like a AAA game going up to $70 for the base price. I've seen a couple do it, and I don't like it, but I get it. But yeah, considering that game's gonna have record-breaking sales no matter what they charge for it, and have a bunch of paid DLC and microtransactions and crap for the multiplayer, I don't know. I wish they would do an actual good remake of San Andreas instead of the crappy one we already got. It was incredibly buggy and not worth playing at all. It still sold millions because gamers are terrible about that. I hate that that's the case nowadays. More and more I'll see things of like, wow, this was like really scummy business practices and I can't believe people are going for it. And there's like lots of people online complaining, and then it's like, nope, it still has record sales. Like all the articles about the new Modern Warfare 3 came out, and it's apparently they made it in record time. It's just like a dumpster fire of a game. It's basically just a patch for Modern Warfare 2. And like all this other stuff, and people are like, this game's terrible, it's getting like super low reviews, the campaign is like an hour long, and all sorts of stuff. And then meanwhile it still is like the highest selling game of the year. We get what we deserve, I guess. Thank God there's a lot of good indie games anymore. Even if they are made by or supported by big publishers. In some cases. Those are the titles that interest me more than big mainstream yearly releases and stuff. Again, they're taking risks, they're innovating a little more. They're often cheaper. And shorter too. I would rather a short but interesting title than something that overstays its welcome. Stuff like this, where it's like, oh, this was a really good base game, they keep adding content that I can go back to, but it's not a massive time investment. That's pretty good. Speaking of massive time investments, some of the members of the band are very interested in playing World of Warcraft again. I am not particularly. They're putting out a big update in like a week or two, where they're trying something new with classic WoW. They're calling it Seasons of Discovery, and basically it's going to start off everybody's low level again, and they're adding a bunch of new abilities and like rebalancing the game, and then they're going to release smaller updates over time and all that, which it does seem neat, but at the same time, some of the abilities and things they're adding is just like, oh, this was stuff released in later expansions, and now you're putting it in a classic. And I suspect it's kind of a two-prong approach, or three-prong actually. One of testing the waters for smaller, like seasonal updates like that, which I know Blizzard has talked about for a long time, but maybe they'll actually do it this time. Two, of trying to get the people that are obsessed with Classic more acclimated to retail, get them to move over to that. And then also testing the waters of like Classic Plus, which is something people have wanted for a long time, of like, what if you took Classic as the base and kept going from there instead of Cataclysm? Again, it could be cool. And you don't have to buy anything for it, which is the good thing. It's, you know, you still have the monthly sub. But I might do $15 dues to check that out for a month. Especially since it's winter. It's coming out, you know, in the dead of winter, so... a little harder to go out and do things. And if a bunch of the band is doing it, we can get full groups for dungeons and raids, then... I guess. Used to play in the past, have not played in years. And even when I did, towards the end, it was more out of commitment to friends that were still playing than love for the game. I think the game could have and should have ended with Legion. I would have put a nice bow on things. You know, extend Legion's lifespan, keep adding content to that for a while, and then build up to an eventual, you know, WoW 2 or whatever, instead of keeping it going, because it's getting real long in the tooth. And they're very creatively bankrupt. BFA was pretty terrible. I quit very early into Shadowlands, like almost immediately. Still have some friends and members of the band who play. Kept playing because of them, but finally enough was enough. And I was like, no, the game's not fun. I can still talk to you all outside of that. Also got way too grindy for my taste. Which is ironic given that I play some gacha games now. Even they, I don't think, are as grindy as WoW got towards the end there. Yeah, we can segue to that though. Gacha games. Genshin had a big update, last week? 4.2. They finished the main story in Fontaine. Well, maybe not finished, but we got the climax of the story. There'll be some epilogues and stuff, but very good, very well done. Especially the voice acting. Obviously, getting Ray Chase for Noivellette was a very good decision on their part. Major character, very talented voice actor. And then Amberly Connors as Furina. Gives the performance of a lifetime in that quest. A lot of people hate the English voice acting. I think a lot of people hate that just because of Paimon. It's a shame because they have some absolutely fantastic performances. Especially lately, they've only gotten better. But Sumeru was going to be hard to top, and I think they did it. In terms of story, at least. Star Rail, their other big game, had an update this week. They added a new event. I've only done a little bit of it, but it's pretty fun. It's all about ghost hunting and live streaming. It's very tongue-in-cheek and silly. The main story in Star Rail is not particularly good. It has some major pacing issues. But all the events they've done have been fantastic. It feels like two completely different writing teams. And the event team is clearly just having fun. The one before this was just Pokemon. Like, literally just Pokemon, except with, like, more than a hint of Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of cheese to go along with it. Like, one of the characters is very obviously just Maximilian Pegasus. And you can tell they were just hamming it up in terms of the writing and the voice acting and the level design and everything. It's very silly. Ooh. Open what? No. But yeah, Powerwash continues to make good games, good updates. I'm very impressed with them as a developer. I mean, obviously I would hope they would do good given how many millions, if not billions of dollars they're pulling in. But it's clear that they are reinvesting it in their games and their studios. And it's paying off for them. They could have gone the cheap route of what Fate does and, you know, make dirty money and then just put out some PNGs of waifus every now and then. But curious to see what they do with their next game. It's been in beta for a long time. Hardly any news. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I guess Star Rail kind of came out of nowhere too. That worked out pretty well for them. Stuff like this always sucks to clean. It's like a weird shape in a weird area. I don't have a lot of room to maneuver to get to some of the little crevices and things in these panthers. That one. Close. Getting close. Ah. Clock, ceiling, axle. That was easy enough. Clock cog. Seems like it's that. Need to get above it somehow. Oh, that I didn't see that ladder there. That changes everything. Clock tower, tablature. Should be. Banister. So those are up there. Oh, it is up there. Okay. Ah, I see. Probably the ones on the sides. Yep. Last one. I assume the next maps are going to be, what, the train and probably something else. Said we did a good job. Ah, okay. So here's the theater now. Green light for another 2 movies, which are filming back to back. The far-flung future of 2015. Oh, alright, whatever. Amazing what they thought the future would look like. 80s futurism is always kind of interesting. Okay, so yeah, this is what was covered before, I thought so. Finish the set. Looks like it's going to be in 2015. Can you imagine that far forward? Okay, so we're doing this in the 80s. Jaws 19. Glad we did not get 19 Jaws movies. I think there's like 5. Plenty of rip-offs, but thankfully, Hollywood is not that creatively bankrupt to make 19 of them. Maybe they did, I don't know. Stand on the special marker on the road and wait for the magic. That's pretty cool. Okay. They did a good job with this. I'll give them that. Again, would not have been my first choice for DLCs, but certainly iconic. Indiana Jones would have been pretty cool. Clean off the Ark of the Covenant. Open it up and the game ends, uninstalls itself from your computer. Formats your hard drive. Big shopping holiday coming up next week for our American viewers. Black Friday. I feel like it gets worse every year in terms of actually not having deals. Not in the market for anything in particular, but we'll see. Get something nice for myself. Now, more often I've been getting, like, adult things, which is wild. I would have thought I would have better settled down from Rockstar days to be excited about new sheets. Stuff like that. Kitchen appliances. Alex thinks we'll have flying cars by 1995. Amazing. Well, Alex, 30 years after that, we still don't. I turned 30 in 95, and it'd be great to have my party in space. Yeah, it's, the dream's long dead. I do wonder if we will ever get flying cars. I feel like probably not, given that people are real dumb and not even can't even be trusted with regular cars on roads. I mean, I guess we kind of have them in the way of helicopters, but certainly not my daily driver. Not anymore. Be nice then. Obviously teleporters would be better, but then of course the dilemma of they're like the what is it, Star Trek ones where they actually just reconstruct you? Are you really you, then? Ship of Theseus in human form. Who cares? As long as you still pay taxes. Government sure doesn't. And hell, if you make enough money, you don't have to pay taxes at all. It's weird. Or alternatively, you live in a place like Liechtenstein and, you know, Europe's Delaware. One of many, actually. I guess there's some other principalities that are quite famous for just being tax havens. None quite as great as Liechtenstein. I believe the others are not still absolute monarchies either. What an amazing country. Kingdom. So, Hololive English, the Hollow Stars are debuting another group of 4. I think it's either tonight or tomorrow. Curious to see how they are. Although it's not the same since Magni and Vesper left. They were a lot of people's favorites. They had to go on and do other things. So out of respect for the cliched VTuber rules, we will not discuss what they've gone on to do. They're easy enough to find, though. They seem to be doing okay for themselves. Still, I can't imagine what the contract disputes must have been to have them get out of that. Obviously, you get more freedom as an independent, but still, there's a lot of security that comes with being with an agency. Skeptical of hoverboards, big ask. See, I think this is what they're going for, of just purposely getting the movie wrong. So obviously there were no flying cars in Back to the Future 3, but there were hoverboards. Hover shoes. It hosted a disco on a lake. Pretty sure disco was already dead in the 80s, though. What are you on about there, Alex? Up in here, and then we'll do the outside bits. Obviously, normally, I say this every time we play this, clean top to bottom, but oh well, I'm gonna break from that for this. But yeah, I feel like if you were going to be a professional VTuber and making money from this, getting in an agency would be ideal, especially one of the big ones. But I guess even with that, there's definitely some issues. They are not the first to leave, and they will not be the last. Still, be curious to hear their stories if the NDA is ever clear. I imagine they're quite lengthy, though. Probably to protect the other talent still there. Just like idols, real-life idols have. You know, the tell-all is only after everybody else from their unit retires. Or graduates, rather. And even then might be a couple years. Make sure they're totally out of the public eye. Getting there, 65%. Next week we get Steam's big autumn sale, which always feels weird. I feel like they should just move the Halloween sale up. I hate that they have it so late in October. And then they have the short autumn sale, and then like right after the Christmas sale starts. And it seems like such a waste. Have the Halloween sale be like 2 weeks. Get rid of the autumn sale completely. And then just keep the Christmas sale where it is. You know, several devs have said, devs and publishers in the past have said that there's rules on Steam as to what you can set your price to, and so some just don't participate in one of those 3 sales because then they can't adjust their price for the other ones or something, which seems odd. Not even sure what I'm eyeing for the sales this year. Still have so many games in the backlog. Probably will get Baldur's Gate though. Even if it's not on sale, I think that will be a nice gift to myself. And then I think I need to finally bite the bullet and get RimWorld. I've wanted to for a while. I've played some of the knockoffs. And I like the concept, but you can tell they're just copies, sometimes copies of copies. It's a neat concept though, and I definitely want to explore it. And I know it has a very rich modding community and everything too, so. Always like that in my games. I am thinking that I'm gonna finish my Cyberpunk run that I started, that we streamed the other night. A little bit of. And then take a break from it, obviously, for a while, because it's a very heavy game. But then do another run later as a different start and with a bunch of mods. I feel like I might get more out of the story that way too. I've largely been skipping kind of the little things and just focusing on the big picture. Because it seems like one of those games where that might be ideal to like get the big hits the first time, then come back to it with that knowledge, and then you'll have more background for the little side stuff. Prediction 3, Jaws 19. Jury's out on that one. Who doesn't want to watch a shark story? There's so much shark movie, there's so much story there. No. The first one's fine. They didn't need to make any others. Maximum number of films for franchises, 3. Boy, I wish you were right. That isn't it just getting a bit silly? It sure is. You're alright, Alex. You're alright. I feel like they could have omitted this part. Giant featureless walls and floors. Especially given that it's like up in the air. Not the most exciting thing to clean. I think 3 is the movie that I'm least familiar with in the franchise. Obviously 1's the most famous. That's the case for most franchises, though. Star Wars being the obvious exception. 4 is the most famous. Although perhaps proof positive that maybe 3 movies is enough. Could have made 4, 5, and 6. Not told us that there was 1, 2, and 3. Possibly been better off for it. Well, I guess 1, 2, and 3 are fine. I mean, they have some issues for sure, but they do some interesting things. They flesh out characters that everybody likes. Good thing they stopped at 6, though. That's... Any more would have been just ridiculous. Actually, that's not true. Solo is not bad, and Rogue One is very good. did this get so dirty? Everything in the future is filthy. Yeah, I don't know, this maybe wouldn't have been my top choice of something to clean from the third movie. I'm trying to think what would have been better, though. Also, weird that they have us doing this before the train. I can only assume that's what we're going to clean from the second one. Or third one, which, whatever. 2 and 3 are just... they're not as good, and they just kind of get confused in my mind. Surprised they did not try to sneak a Rick and Morty reference into this. Obviously Rick and Morty more than a little inspired by Back to the Future. And by Peabody and Mr. Sherman, of course, but... this kid and scientist is a somewhat popular trope. Upper wall feature. What else is still on it? Ah. Let's do the no extension. What do we still have to clean? Probably this. Trapped here now. Next letter. Which one? Entry ceiling light. Alright. Yeah. Was it too bad? Doc's time train. Okay, so yeah, the third one was the past one. That makes more sense. Okay. There's a lot of little bits and bobs here, huh? Alright, we will do top to bottom. Script supervisor. Oh, Alex is moving up in the world. Good for him. Interesting seeing so many moving pieces. I don't usually get that too often. Making some strange noises here too. Let's do Lord of the Rings DLC. It's a clean Minas Tirith, top to bottom. They're Helm's Deep after the battle. It's just orc bodies everywhere. Powerwash and Ent. But honestly, cleaning like Bag End and, you know, like the courtyard where the white tree, oh my goodness, is in Minas Tirith, and like, you know, the keep in Helm's Deep. Those would be cool. Clean Edoras with the view. The Forge in Mount Doom. Giving us a spoiler. It says this one takes place in the past. What a twist. Oop. In the underside of this, and then go back up. I like when you get a ton of dings at once and the music, or the little sound effect kind of glitches. It's always satisfying. They haven't said anything else about the Warhammer DLC for this. Hope it's still a thing. Powerwash Space Marine. There's so many little fiddly bits on this. This is gonna suck. We're gonna get to like 90% and still have a million things left to clean. See, he said the train was famous. There's always we really missed there. Again, swing and a miss with the messages from this. You know, like the Tomb Raider one had us talking to Lara Croft. The Midgar one was talking to the characters from Final Fantasy VII, and the SpongeBob one we talked to SpongeBob and Patrick. I guess it's a little different when it's real people, but, you know. Feel like Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd would have been fine with some cheesy little lines about, you know, cleaning up the flux capacitor and stuff. It's a pretty unoffensive game. Could see if it was like, yeah, don't put us in Mortal Kombat or something. But again, could be a licensing thing, though. Who knows what the terms were. Huey deals with all the legal stuff. I don't know anything about that. And neither does he, because he's a koala, but whatever. Better him than me? Wheels are always one of the worst things to clean in this game. Especially when they have spokes. Yep. Getting there. Finish up here. And forget. Alright. Such a goofy looking train. It's like Pots and Pans Robot Train Edition. Well, I guess that's kind of the point. Like this bit here looks like a giant garbage can with fins on it. Some copper piping. Would have been hard to get that back in the 1850s, or 1880s rather. Even harder in the 1850s. Window from the bottom, right? It's easy enough. Again, making big progress, but there's still a lot of little things on this, I know it. So you're nearly done. I want to say how great it's been having you on set. No idea how you store all that water in that backpack of yours. Yeah, me neither. Our wheels, everybody's favorites. We might finish this before the music loops. That would be pretty wild. It'll be close. I heard it was like 2 hours or less of content. Although, I guess you could argue that SpongeBob was inflated because you didn't have the good nozzle. That last map, and it was just too big. Let's see. Oh, could have gotten one of the extenders on there and probably made this a little easier. Oh, got there eventually. Let's go back up. Like, if they're doing time travel, they could do a Doctor Who one. Plenty of opportunities there. This is weird to clean. Let's see if we can't get it. No. Does that count as part of it? Sure does. Okay. Alright, just like I thought. 99%, and we don't even have... It hasn't given us our final 3 things. I was afraid of. I saw something there very briefly. The bellows still has dirt on it. I don't see any of that. Ah. Cab door window, engine furnace outlet, and run board flux band. Okay, there's the run board. Flux band has got to be an engine furnace outlet. This window. Furnace outlet. So just... looped. Just a little too slow. Run board flux band. Must be on the other side. What? Don't tell me it's bugged. Maybe. There we go. Oh my goodness. Should probably... Oh, okay. Destroyed my ladders. You should pay me a little extra for that. I am getting paid for this, right? We did it! Another outstanding job, thanks. I was skeptical of such, maybe more productions will contact you one day. Yeah, pretty short one for sure. And they for sure could have combined the car and the van into just one. I think it would have worked just as well. Oh well. Yeah, Back to the Future. Powerwash Simulator. Powerwash is always good. Back to the Future is pretty good too. Again, wouldn't have been my first choice, but it's not that I dislike it. Just glad to see this game always get more content. Hard not to like that. We'll be sure and check out the next time it gets more. Certainly enjoyed this, and whether you were here live or you watch this VOD later on down the road, I hope you enjoyed it too. And until next time, have a good one.